Yo, welcome back to the Legacy Podcast as we get started with a brand new series inspired by the Balanced Life course brought to you by the Winning Network. So before you go anywhere and we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now and the bell to get your notifications. And if you're listening, make sure you hit subscribe on podcast, Google Podcasts, or anywhere this podcast is available. And we're getting started right now on your favorite podcast, the Legacy Podcast. Yo, it's the show that inspires you the most. I'm your host for Legacy, Kinsley Jordan, your winning coach, encouraging you each and every day to crush your goals, ignite your dreams, and forge a legacy in your life. And I couldn't be more excited because I got with me my very own Director of Marketing for the Winning Network, Mariah Simmons. What's up?
Hello, Legacy listeners.
So, wow, I've never had anybody say that. You actually kind of caught me off guard. Legacy listeners, so sassy.
The LLs.
The LLs.
Ooh, that's trendy.
It is. Hashtag boom boom LL. Hey, make sure that in case you didn't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button because we got great content for a brand new season.
Yeah, the first season.
The very first full season of the Legacy Podcast, where we're diving into, and it's inspired by the Balanced Life course.
Yeah.
So the Balanced Life course, in case you don't know, it's the first virtual release by the Winning Network, which is our business that is focused on specifically helping people to plug into a performance ecosystem to change their life in achieving their goals, reaching their goals. And that's literally available right now. You can go to where?
You can go to thewinningnetwork.com/course. And then from there, you can buy the course. You can read more about it. You can read Kinsley's story. You can read our director of operations, correct? Allison.
Yep.
You can hear her story. And then after you read all that, I'm pretty sure you're going to be convinced and you're going to go ahead and buy the course. And then along with the course, you can listen to this season because each week we're going to release a new episode about a different topic.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just going to be a phenomenal, life-changing season for a lot of people.
It is, because there's so many people who need help. There's so many people who, and frankly, a lot of times people don't even realize they need or want help in achieving their goals or being motivated or being encouraged. But you have so many ways to be able to do it, honestly, because we make it as easy as we possibly can. Literally, it's as easy as texting us to get involved.
Yeah.
Because you can text us right now to join the Winning Network's text community, which is going to send you encouragement each and every day. We're going to send you content. We're going to send you not only encouragement for you, but also to get you plugged into the resources that you need in your life. So if you will, literally right now, text 405-645-7789. And what do they text to that if they want to join our Facebook group?
So if you want to join our Facebook group, all you have to do is text Facebook, that's it, to that number, and then Kinsley will send you back with a link to join our Facebook group. Right now, the Facebook group is called 2021 New Year's Challenge, but we may be changing that up soon.
Yeah. Because, we
got exciting things coming.
We do. We just start a new year, and you got to be motivated when you get started. Otherwise, you're just like a sloth.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no offense. If you're a sloth, I am so sorry because it's nothing personal. It's just you're kind of slow.
Yeah.
But when you want to be able to get involved, that ability to be able to text us and get plugged in. You can also text us your questions to that same number, 405-645-7789. Because life, sometimes we have questions as we want to move forward, as we want to be motivated. I know Mariah, there's been several times in my life where I was like, gosh, I just want to get out of this slump I'm in, but I don't know how to get out of the slump.
Yeah.
And it sucks being in a slump. So
been there, done that.
Been there, done that. Not enjoyable. So in this season specifically, in these episodes, we're going to cover seven different episodes, including this one. The next 6 episodes are going to be walking through what the Balanced Life course is and why you need to live balanced. So before even we get into those episodes, because the first one this week is the intro of why do you need to live a balanced life? Why is that important?
Yeah.
The week after that, we dive into bonds, which is relationships, bonds, banking, brain, body, and business. Those areas, your ability to be able to look holistically and say, how do I live a balanced life? And why is it so important? Why is it important?
Yeah. And before we get into that, I just want to mention something briefly to you guys. And so you may be listening to this and you'd be like, okay, that's cool. But listen up. It's going to be really cool because we're going to have guest experts on the show with Kinsley, and they're going to be talking about specific things that they're an expert in. So if you are like, okay, Kinsley, sounds cool, you aren't getting the big picture here. This is going to be a really good season. We're going to bring on really cool guests that really know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So
professionals.
I hope you guys have your seatbelts on because
experts.
It's about to get crazy.
Yeah. And again, we'll tell you, subscribe so you can get those notifications every Monday of a new episode coming out of the Legacy Podcast. And you've heard me say it before, but I'll say it again. Our goal here at the Wendy Network, the reason why we do the Legacy Podcast is we want you to build a legacy in your life. We want to help you crush your goals. We want to help you ignite your dreams. We want you to be able to build that legacy that you're going to be proud of 20 years from now, 30 years from now, to hand off to your kids and family members. And it starts literally right now. So when we're talking about this season specifically that's different with the Balanced Life course, there's been so many people, literally this last week, I've talked to 6 independent individual people who are kind of entrepreneurial minded people. And all of them are like, I got this thing I want to get started, but it's good. I think I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But then the more conversation I had with them, the more I started realizing and asking questions, say, hey, man, that's awesome. Like, what's your next step? What are you thinking about? Like, how are you going to achieve this? They didn't necessarily have answers. And it really led me to the realization, which is that there's a lot of people who want to make those steps, but unless you take the time to look at the areas of your life and make sure that you are building your future and your dreams on a solid foundation of those basic principles of your life, eventually you can get to a place in your life that you want to be, and your whole life is in shambles. Is totally chaotic.
And that's why this is so important, and why we're taking literally 7 weeks out of the Legacy Podcast to talk about this, because people are missing it. People wait till they're 45 and they wake up and they say, man, I just feel out of balance. I have spent 20 years at my work, at my job, and I don't even have these memories with my kids because I've spent so much time at work. And so this is why we're taking 7 weeks to go through this, to lay down the foundations. And we talked about before, this course is kind of like building a house essentially for you, laying down the foundation. And so if you're building bricks on top of each other, obviously we know that you want it to be solid, you want it to be straight, and you don't want any cracks, you don't want anything unwobbly, anything like that. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for the 7 weeks, and I know it's going to be really important for a lot of people.
So listen, strap in, follow us along. Make sure that not only you're subscribing here, but you follow us at the Wendy Network as well, because our goal is to be able to connect with you and make sure that you are getting the resources you need, the support you need from the team, whether it's the organic Facebook group, whether it's the Balanced Life course, whether it's our coaching portfolios that you can search through. We just want to be able to help you. I mean, honestly, we are literally investing into you and what it is that you need in your life. And for me, this is, initially when I created the Balanced Life course, it was because my life was totally out of whack. I mean, it was completely, there was no balance to it. I was working all the time. There was really no family time necessarily. I had so many different things going on. And in my life, something had to give. And it was several things. And tell me if this resonates with you, or if it resonates with you, which I'm sure it does. But there was this moment where I realized for me personally, I had accomplished several of the things that I'd lined up that I wanted to do in my life. And I realized that I'd stopped dreaming. I'd stopped going after the goals. I'd stopped chasing after or having a vision of what I wanted to accomplish years from now. And that my life had been consumed with work. And it wasn't even work that I wanted it to do. It was work that had to get done because it was my job, and you got to keep on focus. But it wasn't anything that necessarily I was passionate about, because I'd never taken the time to stop and ask, is this important? Is this what I want to be spending 12 hours a day on? Is this what I want to be investing all of my time into? And when you spend all your time focusing on work, or all of your time focusing on, whatever that thing is, the X factor, when you spend all your time doing that and you're not living a balanced life in these 5 areas, in your body for your health and fitness, to make sure that your body can stand the long term, brain, if you're not growing yourself educationally, bonds, the relationships that you have with your spouse, significant other, friends, family, business, how are you doing in your job, and then banking, in those 5 areas, you can work for 20 years and only find yourself exhausted and not where you want to be. And never have focused on the basic building blocks that enables you to be able to get there. But so many people do this.
It's so funny that you called it basic, because that's what this originally was called. We called it the basics to balance, but then we're like, kind of sounds a little cheesy, so let's change it to the balanced life. But that's if you need a different name to understand what we're talking about. We're talking about the basics of balance. And so if you're looking at this and you're like, I don't know if it's actually going to help me because I've done stuff like this before and I just fell through within 2 months. Like I gave up and it didn't work. Well, we're giving you the basics. Like these are step-by-step, simple simple things that you can do right now.
Yeah.
And each week you're going to get action points. You're going to get things that you can start doing in your life right now to change.
Yeah.
And it's going to be super simple, super easy.
It is. And
Yeah.
when you look at what the course is, we simplified it as much as we could, because literally what started off as lessons learned from myself of saying, listen, I mean, it really started when I got the full focus planner, and I went through and I wanted to allocate what my goals were. And I was like, how am I supposed to allocate like, how do I divide up my life into areas to allocate goals and to build goals? I have no idea. What am I supposed to do? And it was boiling down to, okay, when you categorize your life and boil it down simply into basic areas, myself internally, your brain, your cognitive process, the people that you're surrounded with and relationships you have, business, because everybody has a job to be able to make money. If not, and you're listening to this on the side of the road somewhere, I don't know how you are, but good for you.
You got a phone or something somehow.
Good for you. You did it. Gosh darn it, you did it. And the last thing, banking. When you boil it down to those areas, then when in those each areas, if I just set one goal, everything was so much easier, because it's like, okay, for body, I need to start working out, and that's comprised of these couple areas. For relationships, I need to start focusing on what I'm saying, and that starts with me and my mindset towards myself. And that's what we want you to know, is that in this Balanced Life course, where the reason why we're covering it as the Legacy podcast is you cannot get to a destination. This is really important. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but if you have a goal of where you want to go, but you don't enjoy the process along the way of building the lessons learned and learning how to grow and learning how to take those lessons learned and apply them to other situations in your life, if you don't learn to enjoy the process along the way, you are never, ever, ever going to enjoy the destination.
Yeah, that's really good.
Ever.
That's really good.
It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun for you. And that's why in this course, in this season, in this series of the Legacy podcast, we want you to slow down, take a break, focus a little bit, and ask yourself, because when was the last time you took a break?
For a lot of people, probably before they were parents.
I mean, honestly, yeah. No, I do remember that day. I do. No, I do. I do remember that day.
Good times.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
good time. No, for a lot of people, it is a long, long time that they have taken a break, and they really haven't stopped to ask themselves these important intrinsic questions of, what is it that I want to focus on, and where do I want to go, and what is it that I want to accomplish? Because if all you ever say is, I'll figure that out tomorrow, or we'll go on vacation next week, and someday I'm going to start this job, or someday I'm going to start this business. It is always going to be tomorrow.
Yep.
It's always going to be next week. It's always going to be someday.
Yep.
Those days never come if you're always pushing them down the road. So when we come back, we're going to take a break real quick right here at the Legacy Podcast. For that break, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow along with us, and right now join our texting community, 405-645-7789. When we come back, we're diving into the reasons your life gets unbalanced. See if any of these are true for you. We'll be right back here on the Legacy Podcast.
Hey, Legacy listeners, it's Mariah here. I am so excited about the Balanced Life season that we are in. If you would like to stay plugged in, connected with us at the Winning Network and at the Legacy Podcast, here are a few things that you can do right now. First, make sure you subscribe wherever you are listening, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Google, or Apple, or any other social platform that we have. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button. That way you're notified every time a new episode's released. Second, make sure you text us at 645-7789 to get notifications and daily encouragement from our coaches here at the Winning Network. And last thing before you go is make sure to text that number again and text Facebook to join our private Facebook community. Hey guys, welcome back to the Legacy Podcast. I'm Mariah, if you forgot who I am, and obviously that's Kinsley. You guys know that man right there. So I am so excited to begin talking about ways to recognize if your life is unbalanced, because it's okay to recognize and to acknowledge that your life is unbalanced. It happens to all of us, and it happens multiple times throughout your life, and you just got to reevaluate and come to terms like, hey, I'm out of balance. What can I do to fix it? So, Kinsley, you want to give us the first reason why your life may be out of balance?
Yeah. Very simply, but I think most of the clients that I've had, They find themselves in this place, and you can almost word for word. Most of the time you hear these words come out of your mouth when you're describing how your day was to somebody else. And you're like, it was just so frustrating. Oftentimes you find yourself in a place of frustration.
Yeah.
You find yourself in a place of just like a little bit distraught about, God, that was so frustrating, or geez, I just want to have to deal with whatever it is. Being in a place of frustration means you're not in a place of fulfillment.
Yeah, that's good.
If you're frustrated, it means you're not fulfilled in what you're doing, that there's missing something or there's a disconnect. It's like two ships passing in the night. You just, you don't even know what's going on or what is out of whack. It just didn't feel right. And if you find yourself frustrated, why continue to stay in a place of frustration?
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. It's like, it's people who, it's like people who stay in a relationship that is not good for them. Like, but we've been together for 3 years, big.
Well,
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Besides, you probably should have left him 4 years ago and never met him in the first place. Anyway, it's like, why would you stay in a place that is not good for you, that is not healthy for you? And a lot of people do that. They just stay frustrated.
Yeah, and they stay frustrated because they think that's how life is meant to be. And so they think, well, I have this job and I'm complaining about it all the time to anyone and everyone that will listen, but I'm going to keep this job because it's the only thing I know, and I don't think I'm worthy of anything better. And so that keeps you in that place of frustration, but you come to almost like a normal thinking with it.
Yeah.
Like you don't even realize that you're so negative and that you're frustrated and that you just completely hate your life. You don't realize that because it's become normal.
Yeah.
And like so many people are in that spot, and you just need someone from the outside to be like, hey, like, you look like you are hating life. Like you are not happy. Like you may have a couple things that you're happy about, but overall, like you do not look happy. Like we need to change something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's a great point. What's the next one?
The next point, you struggle to stay present with people. So I know a few people. Yeah. So this kind of goes along with the frustrated thing. So if you're always frustrated when you have a relationship with someone or you're with friends, like it's really hard to stay present and you just start thinking about other things. So if you have a family and you're at home, you're just thinking about work. You're thinking about all the to-do lists that you have, and you're not present with the people that are around you.
Yeah.
And so that's a really big hint that you are out of balance.
Yeah. And it's so easy to be able to do that. I mean, even as simple as when you, how many times have you gone out to eat and you see a couple sitting there on their phones, looking at their phones, not talking, not anything like that. And you hear people talk about, I've actually seen some restaurants who have like little cages that you can put your phone in and lock it, and then the waiter takes the key and then you get it back after you eat the meal.
Have you ever played you pay for the dinner if you touch your phone game?
No.
I do it with my friends. So we'll put our phones in the middle of the table, and if anyone picks up their phone during dinner, they have to pay for everyone. Ooh. Yeah. So keeps my friends off their phones because we're college students and we don't have money for that. So it keeps us present.
I don't have time to be able to do that. I'm not going to do that.
I don't got time for that.
It's so easy to be able to do that. It's so easy to be able to look and allow one area of your life to bleed over into the other area of your life. And this is exactly why we talk about the Balanced Life course, is for literally the reason that you can become so consumed with what's going on at work, and you can make excuses and say, oh, it's just the season. Oh, it's just this project. Oh, it's just this going on. But it's always going to be, oh, it's just this.
Yeah.
Whether it's relationships, whether it's finances, people who find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. Oh, it's just, things are going to change. We just need to get here.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for a break, if you're waiting for somebody else to come in and fix the problem, guess what? It's not going to happen. You have to be able to take initiative in that moment to be able to change what's going on. Otherwise, you're going to continually allow yourself to not reach your goals. You're continuing allowing yourself to live unbalanced in some area of your life. And there was I don't know if I've told this story before, but there was a general in the Air Force that he would go around telling people, and his story as he would speak to them is, don't be me. And his whole story was he spent his entire career so focused on his job to become a 2-star general, and he lost his family, he lost his kids, he has no relationship with all of them. I mean, he became a terrible person, and he realized that he was so consumed with work.
Yeah.
And his message to Air Force airmen was, don't be me. Like, get your priorities right. Yes, you can serve. Yes, you can you can focus on work in some areas, but you have to be balanced in what you're doing. So if that's you, if you've mentioned if one of these things we've mentioned of, hey, you're frustrated, or 2, you're just not present because your mind is constantly going about other things, this is your chance to be able to focus in and realize your life is probably out of balance. What's next?
All right. Next point is people are pointing out how much time you're spending on one certain project. So I think this point is a little vague because yes, there is times in your life where you need to focus a little bit more on one area, or maybe you have something really like you have a launch going on for your business.
Yeah.
Yes, you're obviously going to be spending more time on that project because it is a really big event and it has a lot of preparation that goes into it. But if people, especially your husband or your family or your kids, are starting to notice that you are spending so much time in this certain area, it may be time to take a look back and be like, hey, how can I still invest into this project that I'm doing, but allow myself to give more time to the people that are important to me or to other things that are important to me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it completely is. And you may not, being able to trust those relationships and the people around you when they give you that feedback, there's been times where I've seen people say, well, I just don't know if I believe what they have to say.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. This has been the person that's been with you through the thick and thin, who always told you the truth, and you don't want to listen to what they have to say because you don't think they're telling. Like, what is the incentive for them to lie to you right now?
Yeah.
There's clearly seeing something that you need maybe help on, and that's okay because we all need help at times. Being able to get ourselves out of those situations, that's huge, and that really plays into the next step. The next point is sometimes when you become unbalanced in your life, relationships that you have become distant, and not even just distant, but sometimes you find yourself distancing yourself from people who normally you wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I 100% feel that because when I am in the middle of my college season, so I'm a biology major, and so that takes a lot of studying and a lot of homework assignments and exams, and it's more than my other friends who are in different majors, which I'm not bashing on their majors, but I'm just saying the biology requires more time and more effort.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be, if they listen to this, they might be like, excuse me, are you saying you're smarter than me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I'm
just
smarter.
a biology major. I mean, I don't know what your problem is,
I'm
but
sorry,
it's got stuff to do.
Reality, I have to spend more time, studying and all this. And there's a lot of other majors that can relate to that. And so I would find myself constantly just declining, like, Mariah, can we hang out tonight? Sorry, I got to study.
Yeah.
And then my parents would invite me for dinner. Sorry, I'm busy. I got to do this and that and that. And so it was decline after decline after decline. And after a while, even I noticed after them telling me, like, I noticed before that I was always saying no.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say no sometimes, but if you're saying no constantly to your friends and family, the people that are important to you, that's when you got to take a break and figure out your priorities. Because I know for me, my friends and my family are priority. And so I had my priorities out of whack and I had to fix that.
Yeah. And if you don't have a mechanism in place to be able to identify if you are out of balance, which again, why we promote, why we encourage you, get involved with the Balanced Life course. Take a moment to invest into yourself. Is that it's a mechanism for you to be able to look at and walk through the process and say, you know what, like I have a lot I need to work on because I have been spending no time over here and I've been spending all of my time over here. And it's your chance to be able to work through and grow in those areas, which are so important. Yeah. Because if you don't take that step, then this gets to our next point. If you don't take that step to find balance in your life, it doesn't matter how hard you work or how many hours you pour into it, you will always, and this is the point, feel unproductive.
Yeah.
You will always feel like you are not able to ever get your head above water. And it's constantly the state of just feeling like you're drowning.
Yeah. I know for me, when I was going through that season that I just talked about, I would get all these things for school done. I would get my to-do list done, but I would go to bed at the end of the night feeling like I didn't accomplish everything that I was supposed to do. And so I just felt super unproductive, even though I was busy all day.
Yeah.
And so I think when you don't have the right balance between your bonds, your brain, your everything else that's listed, then you're never going to feel like you're being productive. And that's just a really bad negative spiral to go on because if you're feeling unproductive, that's going to lead to feeling unworthy, to insecure, to all these different things that you can completely avoid by living a balanced life. Yeah.
So when you think about living a balanced life, so many times I've heard people say, listen, that's going to take forever to be able to do it. It is not difficult. I promise you. It just takes the intentional step of slowing down and saying, I'm going to focus. Here's my 5 areas, and I'm going to focus in each one of these areas. And I'm going to set one goal. All I'm asking for is one goal in each of those areas. And get this. If you're saying, I don't know if I have time to commit to that, you don't have time not to commit to it because you're not investing into me. You're not. I'm not asking you to come paint my house. I'm not asking you to do anything for me. What we're asking you to do is take the time to invest into yourself because who benefits from it? You do. You are the one that benefits from this investment into it. And if it's only 5 areas, guess what? There's 7 days out of the week.
Yeah.
That means if you intentionally invest into yourself, 1 day in each area, that your main focus that day is you're going to achieve or take 1 step closer in each one of those areas in your life. That means literally you get 2 days off to be able to focus on whatever it is you want to focus on. And you have taken 1 step to achieve one thing in each of those areas of your life in that week. And you are living balanced instead of not having a goal and just kind of going through life and saying, we're just going to kind of get by. Because that's what really leads to kind of our last point of how you know if you're living a balanced life or if you're living unbalanced is an indicator marker of, are you living paycheck to paycheck? Well, living paycheck to paycheck isn't necessarily an indicator that you don't make enough money. It means that you have not spent enough time planning.
Yeah. Budgeting, honestly, is really hard for me. But I know how important it is because I have things that I want to be able to afford later on. Yeah. And so if that means today I can't get a latte or today I can't do my TJ Maxx shopping spree, but later on I can go on a vacation with my friends, like I am totally down for that. But it's the matter of making those small sacrifices now to be able to get the bigger things that you want more later on. Yeah. And that's something that you and Kaylin really talk about in the Balanced Life course. That was really good.
Yeah. As we pause there for a second, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about the Balanced Life course is that there are so many experts that we've brought into it, professionals who focus. Kalen Bruce, a financial coach, he's from overseas. He's serving with the military, but he has a blog that had, I want to say 100,000 subscribers or like 60,000 subscribers to it of people. He has multiple different writers going into it. And he focuses specifically on how to be able to manage finances as a family and teach your children how to be able to do it. But he's done this by learning personal investment and personal money management himself. He's one of our coaches that we talk to on the course. Then you have Brittany Giuliano, our behavioral director coach here at the Winning Network, who not only is getting her master's in behavioral understanding and psychology, but also her ability to be able to see and speak into situations. We have Justin Simmons, your dad, who's a certified counselor, social worker, who's seen the gamut of things in our lives. We focus on bonds and relationships, and in business we cover it with not only myself but also a couple other people. I mean, we bring the experts into it for you to be able to glean from their knowledge. To be able to change your life. I mean, it's an investment into yourself. It really seriously is. Yeah,
and that is so cool because we're not saying we know it all. Kinsley's not like, okay, if you buy this course, I am the one that will give you all this knowledge. No, he is humble enough that he brought in these experts.
Okay, all right. Okay.
You want me to keep going? Okay. He brought in these experts.
Quit. No, I'm just kidding.
To be able to really fill you guys' cup. So if you are wondering if this course is valuable, guys, this course should be like over $1,000. Yeah. That's how much value is in it. But we're selling it for $99. Like that is, I don't even know how much percentage off that is, but that's the best deal you could ever get, honestly.
That's right now. And frankly, the deal's not going to last because there's been a massive uptick of people who've been interested in it and getting involved in the Facebook groups that we have.
That's our early bird sale.
Yeah,
is the 99.
Early bird sale. There was an interesting statistic as we kind of move through to be able to wrap up why living a balanced life is so important and why so many people don't necessarily realize why living that balanced life is important, because it's really easy for me if I was just outside looking in and say, okay, like what do I need a course to teach me to live a balanced life? But it's one of those things that's like electricity and water. If you never had running water and you never had electricity, you probably think you didn't need it until you had it, and you're like, I don't think I can live without this. Like, what am I going to do without air conditioning? I can't live.
It's like camping. Oh, I don't know.
Camping. Talk about glamping.
Seriously.
I like camping. Like, oh, geez, great. Now I'm going to get questions. But it is one of those things, specifically the Balanced Life course, that you may say to yourself, I don't need to take that step, but I'm telling you, it's a step that you cannot afford not to take. You have to take a step of investing into yourself.
Yeah. And I'm going to dare to say that buying this course is a form of self-care because essentially self-care is not spa days, massages, I don't know what guys would do, working on a bike, something. I was trying to relate to like your genre, but I'll just,
shooting,
you know what I'm talking about.
going to the range,
hanging
shooting,
out with the bros. You know what I'm saying?
punching your friend in the face. Just the typical. No, I'm kidding.
But essentially, self-care is bringing your life back to balance.
Yeah.
And what better ways is there to do that than to, one, listen to this season, take notes while you're listening to it, connect with us through the text community and through our Facebook community, and then also go ahead and invest in yourself and buy the course. Like, if you need someone to say or give you permission to do it, I'm giving you permission to buy the course. So go do it right now.
Yeah. There's so many people who have the mindset. There's an interesting statistic you mentioned that 60% of respondents to a study of 2,000 people indicated that they had pressure and responsibilities of workplace, the difference between that they didn't have a balance between work and home, and that there was no balance between those two. And a third of Americans said that they work too hard, with 40% of those people responding that they work too many hours.
Wow.
That's completely true. I was spending, honestly, before all of this started, before I had these lessons learned, I was spending 12 to 14 hours at work. And I would come home, I'd be able to see my kids for an hour, and then I would leave before they were gone. Out of the total week, and here's the thing that hit me really, really hard to realize that I was not living a balanced life, is as a father, during the week from Monday through Friday, I was seeing my kids for about 5 hours. Who is raising my kids? I'm their father.
Yeah.
Who is raising their kids? The school? A babysitter who's like, my responsibility is to live balanced, to be able to invest so I can be a good dad to my kids, so I can be a good dad to my husband, to my husband, so I can be a good husband to my wife, that I can be a good friend to my friends. But if you don't do that, you're cutting other people short and you're cutting them out of your life. And the truth is, they need you. Yeah. They need you to be healthy. They need you to be whole. They need you to be balanced, because there's going to be times where they call on you and they need you in their life. And what happens if you're not living healthy? What happens if you are not whole? What happens if you are a broken person yourself? You're never going to be able to help the people who count on you the most. Yeah.
And I think the reason for this, like how big of this statistic is, I think the reason is the American dream mindset. So we all have heard of the American dream, it's working hard, getting that house, being able to afford nice things, being able to, provide for your family. That's the American dream. But what we have shifted that to is working long hours in order to be able to do this, working for someone else with something that we're not even passionate about, simply because we need to provide for our family and all these things, which, yes, you do need to put food on the table. Yes, all these things. But also, you can take time for yourself. You can invest in your family. And so that's what I really love about this course and about these next few weeks that we're going to be talking, is that we're going to be looking and stepping back and saying, hey, how can we help you in order to connect you to your passion?
Yeah. You're about to step into a season. In this season of the Legacy Podcast, you're stepping into a place where we're going to encourage you and challenge you. And that means is that as we go down this road, as you listen, as you subscribe to the Legacy Podcast, where we help you to crush your goals, to ignite your dreams, and to forge a legacy in your life, that means this partnership requires a little bit of work. And that little bit of work means that you're going to have to make it into investment, just like we have made the investment into you today. I mean, we didn't have to show up and record this, but we get to. Why? Because we care about you and we want you to succeed in your life. So there's a couple ways that you can get connected with us right now that are so, so important. And I beg you, please just take a second to do these couple things. The first thing is subscribe. If you haven't done it, make sure you hit the subscribe button here if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on online, anywhere where podcasts are available. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the bell so you get the notification. The second thing, I want you to leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, I want you to leave a comment in the section below and tell us what area of your life you feel like that you are out of balance. Okay, what's the next thing they need to do?
So next thing that we really want this season to be different from the rest of our episodes is we want to be able to connect to you. And so one of these ways that we can really do that is by you guys sending in text. It's like so simple. You send text to your friends and your coworkers all day. So why not text us? Yeah.
I text my phone now.
So all you have to do is text 405. Let me read this.
645.
There we go.
405-645-7789.
Yep. So you can send in any questions, any comments that you have, and we would love to share what you have to say on the podcast with our guest speakers. So it's going to be awesome.
And another thing is if you have not subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, make sure you do, because we're going to be not only sharing the podcast from the Legacy Podcast right here, but also going live once, if not twice a week, to be able to share encouragement and an update of how to be able to go after that in this season of the Legacy Podcast, which again, I couldn't be more excited about, the Balanced Life course. So last thing, if you want to check out where the Balanced Life course actually is, you can go to where?
thewinningnetwork.com/course. I said that so calmly.
You did. It was so calm and reserved. So really well put together. Those are great ways to be able to connect with us. Make sure you do. Guys, we believe in you. And right here at the Legacy Podcast, like we say every time, as your winning coach, your winning coaches too.
Winning coaches.
Coaches. Yeah. We're here to be able to help you crush your goals, ignite your dreams, and forge a legacy in your life. So we will see you next time as we get ready to kick off episode 2 of our season of the Balanced Life course right here on the Legacy Podcast. Mariah,
see you guys.
Thanks for being with us again, and we will catch you next episode. See ya.